second episode of Stoic Bodybuilding. Today we have with us Rhys, and Rhys actually managed to, what we discussed at the first episode is basically how Rhys done everything. And the progress that I know Rhys for like a year now.
Yeah.
And that year, man, he did everything. He became a father, but at the same time, he was competing. He built his own brand clothing. He competed for how many? 4 shows or 5?
5. Yeah.
5 shows. He has his own 2 businesses, except from the clothing, like the posing and coaching as well. And you are working as well, like corporation work, right?
Full-time job as well.
Fuck, man. Like, how are you doing all that?
You know what, man? I was a whirlwind, but I actually think that doing all of the things at once, it wasn't like a time where I ever had time to think about the situation. You know what I mean? You just kind of do. And I'm the type of person who likes to be occupied. Like the way that my brain works, if I have nothing on, like I'm like, what can I do? I need to do something. Like I really need to be engaged at all times. So it was tough. I think having Vicky as my coach, like she made the prep super, super easy. Like I say, like in previous shows where I've done prep, I've been like 14,000, 15,000 steps. I've been doing cardio like endlessly. The drugs have been way too high that it's almost gave me a negative response. This time, the steps, like I say, were 8,000. Cardio was like every other day. Training was good. Food wasn't too aggressive. The timeline wasn't massive. Like I say, I went into prep on like the 28th of December. I finished my last show on the 11th of April. And I had a child in between that. So it wasn't a particularly long timeline, but I still managed to do the job. The main thing I think was the hardest bit was obviously having to prep meals, not knowing when she's going to go in labour, then obviously waking up randomly in the middle of the night to her shaking you on, having a baby, like we need to go to hospital. So then getting to hospital with my Tupperware, eating that in the labour ward, getting funny looks, and then obviously like coming home, I've got to look after the cats, go back to the hospital, bring her change of clothes. It was crazy, man. But I know I spoke to you before about this, Minas, when we speak about sometimes people, when the excuses they come out with, like, oh yeah, sorry, I can't check in today, my nan coughed, and you're like, okay, yeah, cool, like, or my cat's got the flu, you know what I mean, something stupid. And I think at a certain point, it's a mentality thing, right? Like, I had a lot of shit going on, like full-time job, multiple jobs, starting a brand, baby, like you say, prep, all that stuff. But the mentality that we've got, especially like yourself, Cleo, like yourself, Minas as well, kind of being in that industry, being a bodybuilder, like you don't have that, like, I'm going to make an excuse for something mentality. It just doesn't exist. And if it does exist, you're maybe in the wrong job. You know what I mean? So I think the way that I seen it was just like, okay, here's hurdles to overcome, and I'll be a better person for it. And I'll be able to prove to people even more so, like not just leading from the front, but from my own clients as well. I can show these people, if you're finding it hard to check in just because you work one full-time job, try doing 5 shows with a baby in a labour ward in hospital whilst working on a new business and 2 other multiple jobs full-time work. You know, and then come to me on your check-in and tell me that you can't check in this week because you didn't have time. Fuck off. You know what I mean? So I think that's the kind of thing for me, man. I think it's really just mentality.
Everything is in the mind. What are you doing in regards of mentality? Like, how did you manage? What was your life, and how did you manage to build that mentality that you have today?
You know, I think, I mean, I've got a crazy life. I had a crazy life, right? And when in my younger years, like I wasn't really into bodybuilding as much. I always loved bodybuilding. I always loved the gym, like even since a young boy. But like I wasn't like, you know, into bodybuilding like as what I am now. And I think genuinely, like for me, it come around, I had a really shit year where I lost my best friend who was like only 24. He passed away. I moved out of my family home, had a big fallout with my family. I got my first flat by myself after me and my partner at the time, girlfriend, broke up. And that all happened within like 3 months. And it was devastating. And I drank a fucking lot, like was partying all the time. And then one day I literally just kind of was like, I'm sick of this. Like, I know I'm better than this. And I know that I can do better for this. So I just was like, all of that's getting stopped. I'm going to sign up with a bodybuilding coach. I'm going to get on my shit and I'm not going to look backwards. And I never have, like literally never looked backwards since. And that was 5 years ago.
Wait, that happened at 24 and now you're 29.
Yeah. My friend was 24. He was younger than
Your
me.
friend, how old were
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, man. It was Louis, his name was, it was a rough one, yeah. He was like a year younger than me. Well, a couple months, but yeah, it was rough. It was 2021, 2022 was when it happened. And then I drank for the best part of like a year. And then after that I was like, nah, fuck this. I think it was like 2020, end of 2021, start of 2022 when I was like, nah, I'm getting my shit together. Obviously got a bodybuilding coach, Ryan Gablone from Scotland, awesome coach. He pretty much taught me everything, kind of got me on plan, got me structure, routine, showing me that I actually could do all these things that didn't think was possible, really. And then not only that, he also, like, as any good coach, encouraged me to do my own stuff. Like, he wouldn't just say, "Here's your check-in," like, cool. He would say, like, this is why we're doing this. This is how carbohydrates work. This is how glycogen works. This is like the mechanism of once you consume carbs, they convert to glucose, insulin pulls in. You know what I mean? Like actually breaking it down properly. So I was, at the same time as I was like in a really bad place, I was kind of focused on this with my whole heart. But then I was also kind of getting coaching for free almost. Like he was mentoring me in a way. And I think that gave me the ability to then start up my own coaching brand and then start coaching people as well, like lifestyle clients. And then it just kind of spiraled. And then I end up doing all of this stuff. Now here I am.
That's actually nice because having a person, having a coach that can not only being your coach, but actually your mentor is more than, I think that's
I
the
think
most thing.
I think that's the most important part of a coach, right? So like, I mean, in the same hand, right? If you teach your client well enough, they shouldn't really need you, but then they can't pay you, right? So then that's the whole like, oh no, that's why I think a lot of coaches kind of hold back from giving the client information because they want them to be educated, but they also want them to rely on them. You know what I mean? To need to have them to coach because that's where their income comes from, right? I
Yeah.
think that the coach that I had, like, he just wanted me to do well. He did not care if I fled the nest a couple months down the line because he taught me a lot. He just wanted me to be better. And I think that is
Mhm.
like one of the better coaching experiences to have. I'd say any good coach should be able to, obviously, you're not going to be able to teach someone everything, but you can certainly teach them enough that you don't need to bottle feed them. You know what I mean? Like, you get some clients and you're like, have to hold their hand the whole time. You know what I mean?
That's exactly how I am. And like Cleo is there like too. Because at the same time, it's not like we live in an era where social media is bombed with all these things, right? If you don't know how to explain to your clients why I'm doing what I'm doing with you,
Yeah.
then man, you're fucked.
Yeah. If they don't
And
know the
also,
reason behind it, then the chances are they don't know the reason either. They're just filling you
yeah,
full of
yeah,
shit.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
If I ask someone now why we're doing that, and they
Mhm.
don't tell me, then am I going to trust them?
Yeah. Are you just making this up? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like testing something new on me? Like if you do that, like I don't mind, but let me know. Let me into that.
For sure, for sure. I mean, like for example, just now you're in prep, right? That's not a time where you should be trialing random stuff, right? Because then if it goes wrong, you're fucked. But like, if you're in off season and my coach messaged him was like, "Look, I want to try you with this new peptide because I've been reading up research and I think I could nail something for it. But you don't have any shows just now. It's completely up to you if you want to do it or not. But like, here's the situation." Then I'll be like, "Yeah, yeah, fuck it. Use me as a test dummy. I don't really care." You know what I mean? But if it's something like, "Oh, I'm away to make a change to your plan," and you're like 6 weeks out, you're like, nah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No. What do you have to point, Cleo? Do you have anything to ask, to say?
I think we also identified kind of the common denominator that most people who go into bodybuilding and who do well in bodybuilding at some point hit some kind of rock bottom in their life. And that's when you kind of do a switch and you go all in because you don't have anything to lose at that point, only to gain. And then you
Mm,
get hooked and it just becomes the rest of their life.
I
And I think
agree.
that's why also a lot of other people might not. That's why I keep telling, like I get told a lot, oh, I'm jealous of, your discipline, how you're able to do this. And I told them, you really shouldn't be because I went through a lot of dark shit that made me into this like kind of type of person. Like if you are
Mhm.
carefree and you don't care and you're like balanced and you can look at yourself in the mirror and not be like, bothered by it. I love that for you. Keep doing that. That's probably a lot healthier than what I'm doing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's perspective.
for sure. I think it's touching on what you said, Cleo. Like most bodybuilders that I know, like pros or people who do really well in the space, they all have had some sort of crazy adversity. Even when I met Kevin Levrone and we're speaking about it, and he was talking about, like, you know what I mean, he had his brother die, he had his parents die, he had all these things. He was like living in a lot hard. Like from the top of the game to even just like myself having a really, 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 really rough time. It seems to be the common denominator. And I think, and like you say, if you can look in the mirror and you feel great and you're all right with yourself and you're happy, then that is way better. Because like at the time before I flipped that switch, I was going through the motions, but I was not happy in any capacity where I was. I was literally hating every aspect of like where I was in life, who I am at the time, like the circumstances that I've been put through because they were out with my control. It wasn't something that I brought upon myself as well, which is again an annoying thing because it's something that it's not a metric that you can control. You just have to kind of deal
Mm,
with it, and it's not good. But as bodybuilding, like I think maybe why a lot of people lean into it is because it is probably, in my opinion, the most overwhelming sport. Like, it takes up your mind, your heart, your soul, your time, like everything. Like, it's not like if you play football practice or like you just go to a five-a-sides game for 45 minutes every weekend on a Sunday. You know what I mean? This isn't that. This is eating, sleeping, like breathing the sport. You know what I mean? Every minute of your day is involved. And I think that can be a really big distraction for people who are going through that maybe dark time, dark place. And I think that's maybe why
mm.
a lot of bodybuilders do lean into, or people lean into the sport of bodybuilding at that time when they go through such rough stuff.
At the
And
same time, though,
that's a nice introduction to the Stoic principle of the dichotomy of control. And it's exactly what you said. Basically, the what Stoic philosophy says is you kind of need to have the wisdom to separate what is within your control and what is not, and then focus just on what you can control, because there's no point in worrying about what you can't.
Yeah,
And that's the thing with bodybuilding. Usually, a lot of people they're in situations where they can't control what is happening. So, bodybuilding is something where they have full control over everything, and it gives them power. It gives them
yeah,
back some confidence. And then, they usually they're at the point of their lives where they needed that. So when they say, bodybuilding saved me, that's kind of what they meant. It pulled them out of the darkness.
yeah, absolutely. I can attest to that. For
also at
sure.
the same time, there are moments that everyone passed their own moment. For example, I passed my to reach the point that I am now, like to decide that I want to help people to go into my bodybuilding career, to become the person that I am today. I
Mhm.
have passed through my dark time. So every person, to everyone, everyone will have a point in their life that dark time will pop up. Now it
Mhm.
depends on each person if they're going to grab that opportunity to better themselves,
Mhm.
or if they're going to stay down and getting kicked in the balls like
Yeah,
continuously.
for sure. For sure. I mean, it depends because I know a lot of people that I would say, in my opinion, like that I was hanging around with at the time, doing a lot of drinking, doing a lot of partying. I still know a lot of people that are in the same spot and like later on in their life, like in their adolescence, like 30s, up fast approaching 40s, that still just drink like 5, 6, 7 days a week and they haven't ever got out of that rut and they never managed to do it. But I mean, at some point you need to want it for yourself. But a lot of people they become easy with complacency, right? Or finding the easy way. It's hard when you are already depressed as shit, when you're already in the darkest of places or you're in a hole and you've been accustomed to that for X amount of time, regardless of the circumstances that put you there, you've got nothing left to give, right? You're already deflated, you feel like crap. Sometimes, like for me, I only managed to flip my switch because like I felt like I was capable of more, right? I've always had a little bit of drive in me. It's just the circumstances didn't necessarily line up at the right time. But in the same instance, you get people who just are defeated and they never, ever, ever can get out of that hole. And like you see people like that and you're like, come on, you can do more. Like I know you can do more. Everyone, in my opinion, everyone's got potential. They just don't bank on it. And you need to actually try, you know what I mean, in the first place, to know what your potential is. Whether I wanted to try, but I still know people now who just do not or will not change. But I think at some point, because that is the norm, and they're not in a struggle, like they have a roof over their head, they have food, they still have like maybe crap family life or whatever, but you know, and it's enough to get by. You know what I mean? It's enough to survive. And I think that just having that like baseline of this is easy, it's hard, but it's like it's easier than trying. And I'm accustomed to being in this depressed little hole. They'll just stay there. And some people do, and it's a shame because, like I say, I think it only takes one switch, right? Only one opportunity to just grab onto it and be like, no, I've had enough. I'm going to fucking do something in my life. And then you look, it works out sometimes. You know what I mean? It does.
Bro, but again, like with every failure that you have in your life, it's an opportunity for you to grow. If you're
Unless
taking like the failure and taking it by heart, and you're falling down every time, and you are feeling depressed, and you're feeling like shit, then you're not going to progress. Because like even at the gym, like when you train, you reach failure. That's how you're progressing. So
yeah,
the same goes like for life as well. And
yeah,
the thing is, there are people that you're trying to help, or you are giving them that helping hand, which I don't know what was happened. Like you told us about the coach, but for me, I didn't have that helping hand to drag me out of the shit, because most of the times I was alone.
yeah,
And I needed to pick myself up. But right now, I'm the person that I am picking everyone up. And there are
yeah,
the people that they will just let go of your hand and just fall back in the pit. And you're like,
yeah,
why?
yeah, yeah,
Just
for sure.
why?
I know what you mean.
I
I
think
mean, like
it's
people are.
less. Yeah,
Don't you go, Chloe?
go ahead. No, no, you're
Okay.
good.
So, like similar to what you're saying, like I think at a certain point, with some people, like if you're coaching them and you're holding their hand, right, you're pulling them out of that dark hole, and they'll thank you for it. But as soon as you stop bottle feeding them, they fall back at the same place. Now, I think that could have happened to me, but I think Ryan, like my first coach, didn't do that with me, because like he seen me fail. Like sometimes I would miss check-in, sometimes I wouldn't, because this is my first time doing like proper coaching, right? First time getting out of this dark place. I had all this horrible shit going on, and I was just trying to focus on one thing. And he didn't really give up on me, but I think if I gave up on myself or he gave up on me, I would have very easily fell into a hole, never got another coach ever again, and just left it there. But he didn't, and I think when I decided to leave him, I ended up going to another coach, because I think at that point the foundations were finally built. So when he did let my hand go, I wasn't falling into that hole. But that took fucking time, long, long time, like well over a year, 2 years even, right? It was like about 26 months I was with him for. Now, if he let me go, or if I was like, okay, no, I don't want to be coached, 6 months in, you best believe I would have been doing the same shit that I was doing before almost immediately, because I didn't have all those foundations and those skill sets and that drive and kind of my routine structure, all of that in place. But once that's in place, as soon as you let that hand go, if you're a good coach, they should be able to stay there, you know, if they want it. But they need to stay long enough to be able to learn from the coach, to build the foundations, to actually be able to carry themselves, else they'll fuck it up.
The problem, what I get what you are saying, but again, like, let's say now, I am coaching you for 1.5 years. You're
Yeah,
changing your whole life. You see that you're progressing at your work. You're progressing at your health. You're progressing your body. You're setting goal. You like adopt new habits. And one day you decide you want to stop. And you're falling back to the pit. You're becoming fat again. You're drinking every day. You're doing the same shit that you were doing. So at some point, each person needs to put his mind into place and learn to progress for them and not
yeah,
through someone else. Because yes, you have a coach, but at the same time, that person is a coach and not a babysitter. So he can't hold your hand like for 15 years. You need to learn like the first 6 months, year, one and a
yeah,
half year. After that, you need to learn to walk on your own, because
yeah.
that's how life is. Like, yeah, will be your helping hand, but at some place, I need my hand to be mine for
Yeah,
me
yeah,
to help more people. I can't
yeah,
just hold your hand and I have two arms.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. There's a fine line between that. Like there is a cut-off point where I want to teach you and show you the ways and make sure you're the best version of you, but like at least try. You know what I mean? Like don't just let me constantly force it upon you. But I mean, in the same hand as well, there's always going to be clients who just aren't in it. Like the amount of clients that I've had that have done a bodybuilding show, they've done a prep, they've done one show, they've loved it, and then at the end of the show, they were like, "I enjoyed the experience, but you know what? Actually, this isn't for me." You do get that as well. Yeah.
That is different because they realize they have done that, but maybe they will not fall back to the same mistakes that they were
Yeah.
doing, because they still, even if you do like a prep, even if you do like a bodybuilding show, you learn, you adapt new habits to your life. Now,
Absolutely.
if you're,
Absolutely.
I will speak like completely open. Now, if you're stupid and you're going back to the routines that were destroying your life,
Yeah.
then that's on you. That means you didn't learn anything.
Absolutely. Yeah, 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 for sure. For sure.
Yeah. I think it also has a component. Everyone talks about fear of failure, but I think there's also fear of success. Because I think most people, they know that if they tried, if they put in their work, they know they have potential. They know they could reach at least one level higher than when they're at. But it's
Mhm,
what comes after that. Because if they're comfortable there, if then
mhm,
they get to a new level, they have to maintain that.
mhm.
And that can be stressful. That means more effort. That means staying out of your comfort zone, and not many people are willing to do that. So, because success comes with responsibility, and not everyone is ready to take that on.
To bear the responsibility, yeah. True. Very true. Can I ask you a question, Chloe, right? I know it's obviously your guys' podcast, but I'm just curious. You're a IFBB pro, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So touching on the first subject, most of people in the bodybuilding industry have come from crazy adversity, dark places, dark times. Have you been
Uh-huh.
through an experience you think that really locked you in to that point? Because you've not obviously not just like you're above average, like in terms of bodybuilding. Like if you're IFBB pro, obviously that's top, say 2% in the world in terms of the industry. So to do it to that quality, to that standard, like were you always in this like head first in the game, or did you have some sort of kind of revelation or experience where you were like, shit, I'm gonna fucking get to bodybuilding?
No, well, I was headfirst into my anorexia. I was anorexic since the age of 14.
Mhm,
I was struggling with eating disorders, and I was severely underweight. My body was breaking down. I had my heart rate was in like the 30s. It would skip beats. I couldn't sleep. It was horrible, but I couldn't get out of it. It was a loop of, trying to recover, and I couldn't do it. And then I think what flipped the switch was when kind of my family gave up on me,
oh shit.
and they realized, like, okay, like she's not getting any better. I wasn't the perfect daughter anymore. They said, contact us if you need money or help with your career, but we don't really want anything to do with you anymore. And I feel like that's when I hit my rock bottom.
Mm,
Because I realized, I've only got me right now, and I need to do something about that. And kind of like you said, I realized that I had too much potential to be living in a body so small and fragile, if
mhm,
that makes sense. And then
yeah.
it was kind of, I think fate. It was right when like COVID and gyms reopened, and a guy texted me on Instagram and told me to go to his gym for a workout, and I went there with my booty bands because that's what I thought a workout was. And I started doing, I don't know, banded sidewalks or whatever. I don't know. He just looked
Mhm,
at me. He laughed. He said, "What are you doing?" And I told him, and he said, "Screw this. Like, come with me."
yeah,
Because I already had like muscle, like genetically I had muscle, and because I was very like underweight, I didn't have any body fat. I had like striations, I had lines everywhere. And him
Yeah.
being a bodybuilder, like the guy was a bodybuilder, he was almost pissed off. He was like, "You do realize, like, we actually try to be like this, and you just walk around year round,
Yeah.
like nothing." Like he was taking pictures, he was taking photos. He was like, "I can't believe you're just like this."
Yeah.
And he took me through the worst leg day of my life, and that's how I got introduced to bodybuilding and coaching, and it all went uphill from there.
Do you find that like triggering then, right? If you've had obviously an eating disorder that's like anorexia, so obviously on the flip side of obesity, polar opposite, right?
Mhm.
When you prep for shows, do you get some sort of like triggering, like obviously lowering the food, doing the changes, restricting yourself from dietary stuff? Does that like, are you fearful of that? Because obviously like it might remind you of the lack of eating or, like being that lean and that skinny from before, or like, you know what I mean? When you would
Yeah, yeah.
overcompensate. Yeah.
It's like the prep is not bad. Prep is not bad because it's maybe disguised as discipline, but it actually makes prepping quote unquote a little bit easier for me because I'm used to dealing with
You left that for
hunger.
so
I'm
long.
used to yes, I'm used with a delayed gratification. There's no way I would cheat on my diet even if I'm like hungry as hell. I will follow everything no matter how tired I am. So it gets done and it helps me. But post show is where I struggle the most every time because
Mhm.
I get addicted to the shredded looks and I
Yeah.
can't let go. So seeing my body, like seeing the lines fade, is very hard on me. That's where I'm like scared of eating. Like I might have like my post show meal, but I've even had shows like not after the Romania because then I won and I was okay, obviously exhilarated and I ate, but from the previous, like I didn't even have like a post show meal because I was
Yeah.
just fearful of I didn't want to gain weight. I didn't want to get fat because and it stays, right? That's where I struggle a lot with the off season.
Mhm.
I struggle to eat enough because I'm scared of fat
I'm
gain.
eating for both of us, babe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that and prep definitely triggers it a little bit because of the like you said, like the restriction that your body remembers, so it kind of you know brings back memories, your
Mhm.
hormones, everything. So you're definitely not your best self as we know. So
Yeah.
that's but I think my issue and what I know I would do better for like next reps is to have a very very strict post show plan. So the moment I
Yeah.
step off stage, no matter what happened, I know exactly what the plan is. Like I'll know, for example, okay, you can have like 2 days of eating whatever you want, and then you go back on plan, and here is your plan. Like this is what I need. Because most of the time
Yeah.
people were like, oh, take the week off and then, send a check in and we'll see kind of where we at. And I was like, I didn't know. Like, I should probably still do some cardio because I'm eating more. I should eat, but maybe not overeat too much.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know. And I am a very indecisive person. I don't want that. And the whole idea of hiring a coach is so that you don't have to make those decisions. So the stress is
You don't
not
have to
on
worry about any
you.
choices. Yeah. For sure.
Exactly, exactly. So that's what I every time, and I've even told because Minas is my coach now, and every now and then he will ask me, "Oh, I don't know, like what kind of training split do you want to do?" And I'm like, "I don't know." Like the whole idea of like I don't want to have to think about that. That's your job. Like
You tell me.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's stress. Because then if I make the wrong decision, I don't want to have to blame myself. So you do you.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
don't do. I just need. I'm very good at following orders but
Yeah.
I can't bear the responsibility of making like important decisions when it comes to my body, and I do that on purpose because I don't know if is it me or is it my anorexia talking? Right,
Yeah. I
because like
guess obviously.
even if you even yeah and it makes feedback hard, right? Because I don't know if my hunger is really there because I'll put like hunger is low, but then I'm like scrolling food porn all day. So I'm like obviously I'm
Mhm.
thinking about food all day, so something's off there.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
it makes it hard. Eating disorders are really very, very complicated, and it's something you kind of have to deal with all the time. And honestly,
Hmm.
bodybuilding saved me, yes,
Hmm.
because I don't think my body would have survived much longer at the state it was, and it helped me build it. But as far as relationship with your body and food goes, bodybuilding does not really help.
Yeah, in terms of food relationships, it isn't exactly the best sport in the world.
Yeah.
And most people I know that now suffer from some mild form of body dysmorphia at the very least. So yeah, I completely agree. That's why I was asking the question, because I was thinking like from like obviously you're a doctor as well, like from a medical standpoint or even from a psychological standpoint, somewhere where you have like eating disorders, whether it be anorexia or obesity, this sport's a risky one to get into, right? Like, because it
Hmm.
is very much prevalent on both extreme sides of the field. Eating to a wild amount all the time when you're in off season, or starving yourself for a ridiculous amount as well. So it kind of has like the obesity factor and the anorexia factor all wrapped into one. It's just obviously
Yeah,
how to navigate that.
it helps. The discipline aspect helps you from derailing yourself from like going back to old habits.
Hmm.
But on the other hand, because of the nature of the sport, it prevents you from ever fully recovering and letting go because some
Hmm.
of the principles are just a constant trigger.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then it like you can never go back to like a normal healthy relationship with food when you weigh out every gram, when it's like
Yeah.
it'll never happen. And when you have to like send naked check-ins and weigh yourself every day, and then like actually compare your pictures from week to week, you will never have a perfect relationship with your body because you are literally looking for flaws on a weekly
Yeah.
basis. So
Yeah.
it's impossible. And like nobody, like, you can't be a good bodybuilder if you love yourself too much. Like
Yeah.
there's always a small aspect of self-hate because there's no way you can push yourself to that extent if you truly love yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. You don't see anyone stand in the mirror and go, you know what, my physique is perfect. No one does.
No.
If they do, they're insane. Like literally, they're always like, "Yeah, I need more biceps. I need bigger glutes. I could be have more condition here." Like no one's ever happy at all. Like it's crazy. I remember when I was competing just there. Like to put it in perspective, this was maybe my third show of the season, and I woke up one morning. My coach was like, "I want you to check in this morning." I was like, "Okay." So I got my partner Lisa to come take pictures, and I looked at the pictures, took one look at the phone, threw the phone down. I was like, "I'm out. I'm gonna pull out the show." She's like, "Why? You look great." I was like, "I look like fucking shit. I feel crap. I look like crap." And then my coach was like, "You're crazy. Like, go eat some oats." Go for a walk around the block, eat this other meal, and then phone me back in half an hour, and we're going to take more pictures. So I did that, and then I sent pictures again. I was like, "No, I feel great. I look awesome. I look brilliant." And then she's like, "Well, that was like, there's like 45 minutes between these pictures here. You're insane. Like this is, you do know this is in your head, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, but you know what you meant to do." I think prep obviously fucks you up a little bit, doesn't it?
That's, I think, everyone. I know if I look back like into like some of the peak week pictures, even the Romania show which I won, and I did that show. I had already been in prep for like over 6 months. It was way too long. Coach was like, it was a last minute decision to actually do another show. So I was already in health days. Everything was out, all PDs, because it was already like we had already prolonged. We had already went like over kind of our max time that
Mhm.
we allowed for me to be in cycle. So when I asked my coach, can we do another show? We're like, okay, but you're not jumping back on cycle. Like we go whatever,
Yeah,
we'll do the best with what we have. Um,
yeah,
and obviously I was nervous because I was like, it's not gonna be the same hardness, it's not gonna be the same fullness, and it's like, and I was seeing in the mirror what I was afraid that would happen, right? Even though if I now look back into my pictures, there's like no difference, or I probably even looked even better, and that's probably why I won. Because I looked so
yeah,
much fuller, I looked so much like healthier and like more alive. So I'm not saying, it's very, very hard to reproduce, but it it,
Yeah.
it it worked out. But now looking
I'm
back at
glad
the
it went good.
pictures, I'm like, oh my God, like I was so shredded.
It's
The
crazy though,
funny
right? Like
part,
you look at it at the time, and then you're like, I look shit, and then you forget about them, and then you'll get like a memory pops up from like, oh yeah, this was like a year ago today, and you're like, I remember looking at this photo and thinking I looked fucking crap. I actually looked great. And you're like,
Yeah,
what was going on in my head? Like it's wild.
bro, with Cleo, like every week when we're doing her check-in, she would say like, previous week I was better. But the previous week she was like, I'm not good. And I'm
Yeah.
like, how?
You can't say you
Just
were better
how?
last week when you told me last week you were shit. You know?
Well, yeah. It's
Oh,
yeah, no. And sometimes honestly, like now I'm not even looking at my check-ins. I actually delete them right immediately because I realized that it wasn't doing me any good.
mm,
Um, and obviously like I'm not in prep or anything that I want to save the pictures for the journey or whatever on the transformation. So it's not just taking up memory space in my phone right now, to be honest. um
yeah.
and it kind of helps because otherwise I've had other times where you kind of randomly open up your camera roll because you're looking for something, and then you kind of look at pictures and it hits you and it'll like ruin your mood for a second, and I was like, I
Mhm.
don't need this. I don't need this.
Yeah.
But every now and then I'll look at pictures of like me in prep or whatever, and yeah, it's a little bittersweet because like I'm like I miss it, but on the other hand, I tell myself, I did this, and if I want to, I can do this again.
Yeah, that's it. Could you mean you've got the potential to do it? You've done it before. You're a pro. Like, there's a lot of people you can just do it again, but there's some people that like don't have the mental capacity to. You know what I mean? Like, they'll do it once and they'll be like, "How you guys do this every year is beyond me." Like, you know what I mean? They'll just do it one time and they'll be like, "Fuck that! Like, I am not up for that. It's not what I signed up for." You know what I mean? They'll see it out because obviously they've done it, but it's not for everyone, especially year in, year out. And even if you take like 2 years out from competing, you're not really taking time out. You're still doing it, but you're just doing an extreme off season where you're just as dialed in, but on this food side of things, you know what I mean? So there's never really a point where you're turned off.
Yeah, I mean, now I'm almost like it's been 2 years now almost since I stepped
Mm.
on stage, and like now I can say I'm starting to like maybe miss it, but also because like I'm seeing Minas on prep, so I'm kind of like jealous, and
That'll
um
help. That'll definitely spur you on a little bit. Like anytime I go
yeah,
to like a
yeah.
bodybuilding show, like if I've got a posing client, for example, like, even watching my posing client, and then like I'll go down to his show. As soon as I go down to the show, I love it. Obviously, I'm rooting for them. I sometimes enjoy watching my clients more than my own experience on stage. But when you are in the crowd, you're like, oh, I want to get up there. You're like, that looks
For
fun, and it's yeah.
for me also, the moment I smell the tan, it brings back memories.
Yep, you know what? The tan smell gives me PTSD. I hate it. Like
Yeah.
my partner, Lisa, right? So like we're obviously Scottish and we're particularly pale, right? As a race of people. But my girlfriend wears fake tan like daily and I hated the smell of it. So when I was getting like doing 5 shows, obviously doing the shows, I couldn't go in with the same tan, right? So I was tan on, tan off. Again, a week later, tan on, tan off, constantly tan on, tan off. So I was doing my head in, but I was feeling like I was kind of a bit of a hypocrite because like you don't really know it when like fake tan when you have it on yourself, you don't really notice it. But when you smell it from someone else, it's overwhelming. So like I was coming in like going to bed, and then Lisa was waking up in the middle of the night. Her whole arm was like over me, and then we wake up, it's black, like bed sheets are ruined, fucking I'm reeking of tan, and I'm like, I couldn't. Yeah, it drives me nuts. Like, it's my least favorite part of the sport, but it's
Yeah, I actually say taking that off, and also, I mean, for a female, it's even worse. Especially, I know my worst nightmare was Romania. So, um, that's like we decided with my coach to try something different. Instead of cutting water, we're gonna do water loading. Okay.
oh,
So I
interesting.
woke up. I had to be for my tan at 5 a.m. I woke up at 2 a.m. I had to have 6 liters of water in by 8 a.m. So before stage, an hour before the stage.
Fuck,
So
that's a lot of
all
water.
all, all easy. Plus, like not a lot of food, minimal carbs. I was already full. Was fine, but just a lot of water. And I had no issue. I love drinking water, so I drank it. But and then I go for my tan. Peeing as a female with a tan and a bikini is no easy
Mm.
task. And when you have to do that every 10 minutes, and I think I got my tan ruined. I needed like 3 or 4 touch-ups. Even the girl was like looking at me, was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry." And even like if you see on my pictures, there are lines. Like I can see them. Like on my glutes, like there's lines. Um,
Yeah.
and that was the only stressful thing. Otherwise, like the tan, getting it off, and even post show when you have like all that makeup off, because like I'm not a huge makeup fan. I don't wear makeup often, but they put on
Mm.
so many layers, and like I was even telling Minas, like I was rubbing my face, and like it keeps coming off. Like there's more. Like it's never ending.
Yeah, I bet. It's the getting it off. I had it on my fingernails and my toenails for ages. I put a barrier cream on, right? So like the little barrier so it can just
Mm.
like wipe off. But it doesn't fucking work. Don't care what anyone says, doesn't work. And obviously because I had spray tan, but I didn't I wasn't getting them done at the shows. I wasn't getting them done at the venues. Only one show I did that. So spray tan was on, scrubbing it all off, but I wasn't scrubbing it off my nails, right? Because obviously that takes fucking ages.
Mm.
So by the time like I had 5 shows done in the space of 5 weeks and then fucking was in obviously labor room, I had a build up of like 3 layers of tan 5 times. Right. So my nails were just like I looked like fucking a hobbit from Lord of the Rings who just tried to get to Mordor barefoot and it was just not coming off. I actually ended up paying a Chinese guy to give me a pedicure to scrape it all off and buff it off because it just would not come off. I was starting to look like I had smoker's toenails. You know what I mean? Like it didn't look
Yeah.
nice. Like, and like everything else was great, but then like I took my socks off and it was like fuck. So yeah, I paid some Chinese guy to take off. It was a joke.
Uh, yeah, it's all fun and games until you actually have to
Give me
do it.
strength. In 4 days, I will be tanned.
You've got this all to come, bro. You've got this all to come. How many shows have you got lined up then, Minas? So you got one in 6 days out you are right now, right?
So I will just do one, bro.
Just the one?
Yeah, I decided there is no point for me right now to push a second showing. I was planning to do the North American one because they're giving like 100 pro cards at the show.
Oh, really?
So that is a big opportunity. But at the same time, as I'm seeing my body right now, when I shred it down, I see that I still need work. So why should
We're always gonna see that, bro. Like we've just said, every time you shred down, you're gonna look at yourself and think, fuck, I could be better. That's gonna
e-
happen forever, bro.
that? But again, like I am seeing like the improvements that I did, but
Yeah.
still my legs need more size to create that X frame, and I still have like room until I reach my weight cap. So I said, okay, instead of pushing for a second show, I will go now, see where I stand next to the guys because this is a regional show, see where I am. And then from there, like if everything goes well and, like I fucking win, then I will decide to see like if I am going to do like that will be a decision afterwards. But my point right now, first thing is get the best posing award.
Yeah.
The second thing is to fucking present the best package I can present. And the third thing is to enjoy the time on stage because like I haven't stepped on stage for 3 years. And from there,
Has it
I
been
will
3
see
years?
almost 3 years. Yeah.
Shit, man.
So from
Yeah.
there, I will see where I stand, like see myself next to other people. Like even now, man, like I am 13, almost 14 kg higher than the
Than you
previous
were.
time that I competed.
Well, I mean, that just goes to show that you've not been dilly-dallying for the last 3 years, you know what I mean? At
Yeah.
least you've been putting on good quality tissue. But you're doing more than one category, right, this show?
Yeah, I'm doing men's physique, which I have seen like my waist is actually it's smaller than the previous shows that I did. So the previous shows that I did, I had a 23.5 to 34 to 33.5, like my waist. Now it's like 31.
Shit, it's took a couple of inches off the waist then, yeah.
Yeah. Bro, I'm putting like the waist
Waist
belt
trainer.
or
Oh, you
every
got a
morning.
waist trainer on, yeah?
Seriously. And I fucking like make my waist smaller. And now I'm posing like men's physique and I'm like, oh, that looks nice.
I've seen you in the broad shorts, to be fair, and I actually did look. I was like, yeah, he pulls that off, man. You look good. You look good in the men's
Yeah.
physique.
But like my goal is like classic physique, but I know like I have more right now, the way my body is, I think I have more chance in men's physique instead of classic physique. Like I'm realistic because of the
Yeah.
legs. Like I need more leg size, more quad sweep.
Yeah.
And also I have noticed on my back relaxed pose, I can engage my hamstrings.
You can.
Yeah, I can't engage them. And I don't know why, because I feel them engage, but I can't see anything. But when I hit like every other back pose, like I can see lines there. And I'm like, something is strange. So that is what I will work
I
until the
think if
show.
they were
Yeah.
leaner, I think if your hamstrings were leaner, maybe you would like see more. I think it's just a little detail
Maybe
and with with the
that's a possibility.
shadows.
Yeah.
That's a possibility, but I need to figure that out to see if I am making a mistake or if, you know, my hamstrings are not there yet, like to be like in a relaxed position and be shown,
It could be
which
that as
that is
well.
okay.
Like I was saying, when I was competing, like the only feedback I really got off the judges this time, I was like 1 point away from an ABBA Pro card, which hurts my soul. But my feedback was glutes, right? I need more glute, like ham tie, specifically glutes. But there was no condition there, right? But there was no condition there, like I said, because I don't have developed glutes. Like
Mhm.
they're so small. So how are you supposed to have striated lines when the muscle doesn't push up against the skin because there isn't fucking much muscle there? You know what I mean? So I think like with me, I knew that was the feedback, and I know when I look at myself, especially my glutes, they're shit. So I know I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But that's why there's no detail there. So maybe if you're getting detail out in like a rear double bicep though, then obviously there is enough development there to show striations.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So could just be the position. Maybe you're just not like engaging them as well as you are in other shots, just the way your foot positioned. But who knows,
Yeah,
man? Hopefully
I
you
have the
figure it out.
same issue with my abs. I have the same issue with my abs. I have like very little muscle. I have no muscle on my abs. Like my stomach is just
Mhm.
skin and then gut, and it's all flabby and soft. Like there is there is no muscle. There's nothing. And even like I swear, and with Minas, we tried when I was trying to like abs and thighs, and I was shredded. Like it wasn't a fat thing, but like I
Mhm.
was crunching, and there was like nothing to be seen, just skin
Yeah,
folds, nothing.
yeah.
It was so hard. But then I prepped for 4 weeks, and my glutes are striated,
Well,
and
that's
it's
it. That's
and
the line though. It's like it's when you know, like, okay, it's not conditioned because everywhere else is fucking peeled, but there's just not enough muscle for it to look that effect in certain areas. Like, and like
yeah.
that's my glutes, your abs, it has maybe, I mean, it's just hamstrings, but that's, I mean, it's good to know that though, right? Because like you only find that out if you've dug yourself deep enough to get shredded, right? And then the places that aren't shredded are not shredded because you're lacking condition. Because I mean, you to a certain degree, you can still pull down, right? But then you might end up bringing a worse look. But there are areas where you get that, like run into those instances where you can see, like, okay, this is obviously an area where I need to improve. But like, you get people who don't ever diet to that level of leanness ever. Like even if you're just doing a lifestyle client and you just want them to be better, right? And you just get them as lean as they can handle. Like you can't start to like tailor a training plan like to bring up like delts or rear delts or like quads or hamstrings if you don't get conditioned enough to actually see what your body looks like without the fat on it. You know what I mean? Like you get people that they never know where the small improvements are because they've never actually got in shape enough to be able to tell. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the whole point though, because with every time that you're leaning down, you're marking the positions that you need to increase. So for you right now, you know that you need more glutes. For me as
Yeah.
well, it's the same thing because my glutes right now, yes, I am like clear cosmic Kim Kardashian because I have big glutes.
You got
Okay.
junk in the trunk.
But at the same time, like my glutes are not that muscular to the point that I will get them shredded. So I know like after this prep is done, I'm going to focus more on glutes and hamstrings and
Yeah.
my arms, of course, because they're the smallest part on me. But that I know where I need to focus because my chest, my back came like it's pretty solid right now for my body. My
Yeah.
shoulders are the strongest part, so I don't need to focus on them.
Yeah.
And my quads, like I need more quad sweep, but I still made like pretty big improvements, like even on the quad sweep. So I just need more work. So it's basically, except from overall size, is I need to focus more on the parts that need to come to basically reach the rest of the body.
Do you think that obviously, so it's been 3 years, right, since you've been on stage? Do you think that after this time you do one show, right? You've just done 6 months of prepping, bro, for one show, right? For not competed in 3 years. Do you not think you'll maybe be like, oh, should I have done another show because I've done all this time, effort, took time on stage? Well, because as well, right, when I took 2 years out from going on stage and I'd done 5 shows, but the first two, I was still getting into my groove. I was still dusting cobwebs off. You know what I mean? Like, because like it's hard standing up there in front of hundreds of people with spotlights on you and the tan and fucking really small pants posing your heart out. It's rough, you know what I mean? It's uncomfortable. People can get it. It's like you get a little bit of pressure there. As much as we love it, you can be thrown off, you know what I mean? You can pose shit because of nerves, or you can like your breathing can go because of nerves, or whatever, you know what I mean? There's factors there. So like for me, I actually felt the longer my season was, the better I was getting. Like obviously I was continuing to cut into the show, but like I was getting more confident. I was getting more comfortable. I was getting used to getting up in front of people posing again. And like the big crowd stopped bothering me because like, you know what I mean? If you play a really important football game one time, you're like nervous. But if you play that same game 5 times every weekend for the next 5 weeks, by the time you're at the 5th week, you're like, this is fucking normal now. You know what I mean? This is what you've been used to for the last month or so. So I
Yeah.
think, do you not think there's going to be a bit where you're like, you've got cobwebs to dust off, bro? Like, you're a posing coach, so you pose all the fucking time, right? That's obviously not an issue, but posing in front of loads of people with a spotlight on you is a little bit different from posing in the house.
Bro, from a
I
small
I
kid,
think we're gonna take some time off. I told him it's not gonna be another 2 years until you step on
yeah.
stage again. So it's
Wait,
gonna be a short break.
the first
Yeah.
thing is, bro, like from young age, because I was a dancer in the past, I was doing karate. So I was an active person from young age.
Yeah.
So I was in front, I was on stages, like I was traveling the world dancing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have that an
Stage fright.
anxiety, let's say. So
Yeah.
I step on stage and the first 1 to 3 seconds is the moment that I will get nervous. Then after that, man, it's like every week, like I'm on stage because I have
As soon
lived
as you
that.
start posing, you forget, innit? Like, it's like when you're
Exactly.
walking out onto the stage and you're like calling your number and you're all standing there in the lineup and you're like, fuck, fuck, fuck. But as soon as you actually get into the posing, you forget everything.
Exactly. So again, like, because right now, like I am trying to start new business. I am trying to build more things. So I want my focus to be on that. And even now that I'm doing just a show, I know like, because right now, like I have in October to be in Cyprus. Oh yeah. So people, October I will be in Cyprus. Then in July, in June, at the end of June is my sister's wedding. So I will go there again in June. And from there I will start my prep again.
Mhm.
I will not wait like another 2 years before I start prepping again, you know? So
Yeah.
that is, for me, this is like,
This is your
a
warm up, really. You're
to
going to do.
see where I am.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
know how to push until when before I start my prep again. But for sure, like because as I said, like I'm starting to focus more on work right now because like I have pile of things right here that I need to finish. And after that, like I know I will be more than ready to do like 5, 6, 7 shows. I don't fucking care. Like, I will not care about money. I will not care about anything. And I will just push like the shows one week after the other. And I would have the shows more planned, because even now, like the show that I had in mind, the next show, like the second show, I won't be able to compete because I don't have my green card for more than 4 months. So they don't
Really?
let me compete there. So I
Is
need to
that right?
find a show.
Shit, I didn't know that. So there's green card limitations to shows, is there?
Exactly.
Fuck, that's interesting.
So the thing is, so the next big show that there is here in US, it's in Texas in December. So I can't stay on prep until December
So
because
that'll
I
be
have my,
January to December prep. Fuck off.
fuck yeah, 12 months of prep, man.
We're prepping for a whole year, baby. Hey, if you ain't got
So,
shredded glutes after 11 months prep, you're doing something wrong.
so yeah, I will step back, finish with all the tasks that I have, get my shit together, because first of all, because in these 6 months, I didn't give enough attention to the lady here. I need to give attention to the lady here. And from there, like, I know the next prep, like, is going to be, first of all, less time, not for 6 months. I will have it structured differently, because right now, like, I learned my body better again, but at the same time, there were things that were missing from my prep. So first thing here, like, PDs, man, way too hard to find. So so now we know how to, like, focus on that. We have solutions for that.
Yeah.
So it's easier now, like, especially like after 7 months, when I will start my prep again, it will be much easier.
Yeah, for sure. So like this is effectively one show like dusting off the cobwebs, but you're just going to prep again further down the line.
Yeah.
Makes more sense. What about you, Cleo? I mean, Cleo, if you're saying you need to give more attention, why don't you just do a fucking tandem show? No, team up, do a show together.
We did that once. He never wants to do that again.
Ah, right. Okay, so tried it. Not worth. Not good. Both people
It's
fucking.
not, bro. No, bro. We can do it for sure. The problem is, if both of us are on prep and both of our brains are burned,
Who's
don't feel
supporting who? There's no one to support one another because you're both
exactly.
fucked. Yeah. I get you.
It's a little difficult to do that, but we can do it. Like, it's not that. Like, we have in mind, like, when I turn pro, because it's a matter of time. Like, for me, like, I have that as, like, it's a stepping stone for me. I will do that.
Yeah.
And after, like, we will do the first show. We said, like, the first show, like, pro show that we will do it together. So at some point we will prep together for sure.
Yeah, for sure. When are you back on stage then, Cleo?
I don't know, because I still haven't done like an official pro debut. Um, I don't know. That's gonna be up to Minas. It depends on. I mean, this whole year was mostly I didn't really manage to do much progress because I had like a bit of a like setback at first where I kind of like lost a lot of muscle. So now I'm like kind of gained it back. So I'm like kind of like back to where I was. Um,
Yeah.
but still kind of not where I need to be in order to be competitive in the pro league. Um, maybe, but I think maybe in a year, I think 2028 is probably a realistic goal, to be honest. And I do have shows in mind, because obviously not all shows in the US have the figure category, so you kind of have to look like which ones. So there's definitely 4 or 5 shows that I would like to do at some point, and I don't care which one is gonna come first. But yeah, 2028.
2028.
We need the problem with, like, the whole Cleo is like she said, like, she lost muscles at the beginning when we came to US because like that period was, man, it was fun. You know, clear new work. We needed to buy car. We needed to set everything up. So imagine like, especially the first year for Cleo, it was really, really hard.
Yeah.
Now that most of the difficult rotation are out of her way, now we can focus for sure like 1 year of growth phase, you know, with mini cut in between. And like the good thing is I have Cleo like 9 months now on health phase. So she had her period back and we basically fix her health and all the problems because like previous coaches that she had didn't pay attention to that. They just wanted her to, you know, go get your pro card, go get your pro card. You can do it. You can do it. Yeah, but I don't know. Let's be real. Like health is more important. It's important as well. So
A healthy
that
body's a responsive body, man. A healthy body's a responsive body because if you can get it back to where your peak health, it will do the things you're trying to make it do a lot more effectively. For example, if you've suffered from like, if you're a female or a male who has never eaten a lot of food, right? And you don't say that to your coach, so obviously you suffer from like metabolic adaptation where your body tries to not lose weight. Then if you're on a diet, the coach is going to be like, why aren't you losing weight? Like, because they don't understand the fact that they've had a low calorie diet for ages or whatever, or bad food habits. So then the body doesn't want to come down in weight. You know what I mean? So you need to fix all of the health so it's responsive for whatever you do. I think a lot of people like forget about that. Like I've seen as well, like you're saying about Cleo kind of losing her cycle and stuff, like from in the female space, the amount of females that I've heard of and hearing of that lose their cycle because of the coaching side of things that they've had, crazy. Like that, I mean, it will happen, like it's 10 a penny, it will happen sometimes, but like as regular as it's happening, that's crazy. That's like it shouldn't be happening like that regular, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
people are
it's
throwing that to the
yeah.
wayward and caring more about like the accolades rather than their own well-being. Because at the end of the day, like as much as we love bodybuilding, getting up on stage, competing and winning and challenging yourself, right? The trophies are cool, but like if you don't have your health, like how the fuck are you meant to have anything? You know what I mean? Like anything. Crazy.
that's what we were saying as well. That's why I push her like to do that because, like, man, I increased the food, fat intake was higher than normal, and after that, like when I saw her body that was ready to, because we haven't used like any pharmaceutical, you know, great like helping like progesterone or something like
Yeah.
I tried to minimize that and put that when her body was ready to basically have her period. So the moment we start the first cycle with that, man, after like 5 days she had her first period. And that was the whole thing. Like right now she, like her cycle is pretty solid. And now, like, even when she was on health phase, I don't care what she says. Like, if I show you pictures, she lost her muscle when he came here. She lost like some amount of muscle when we came to US because of the chaos that we had to deal with. But on her health phase, she has more muscle mass than she had even before when she was on like any PDs or something. So now I know like when we start the push phase in September, mid-September around there, I am sure like she will see amazing significant difference on how her body, her health is, and like how her body will respond because I have
Yeah,
like everything set
got
up
it.
in my mind how it would be.
If you fix, I mean, your hormones are what makes you tick as a person. If your hormones are all fucked, how can you expect to get anything better, right? Like, you need to make sure your hormones are fucking ticking over properly. Like, if you've lost your cycle, that's a big indicator hormonally that something's wrong, right? You know what I mean? So, if you can get that back, that obviously shows that you are away from that negative space you were in. And then if it starts to do what it's meant to do, again, like we say, a healthful body's a responsive one. So, I've no doubt about it. Like, thing as well, like, if you like with Cleo as a pro, like or anyone that goes to the gym, like for me, for now, for example, like my arm is half the size because I fucking can't train because of this break, right? I've lost a fuck ton of muscle on one side. I've completely atrophied. But I know for a fact, like because I've trained for years, as soon as I'm able to lift again, 5-6 weeks training, be sound. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because everything's okay. I'm still eating a good diet. My hormones are out of whack. I'm still in a health phase. Everything's looking good on the blood work. Like, that's fine. So if you're healthy and responsive, like, it just takes a little bit of effort again, and then everything goes back to normal. But like, if you're a guy who's fucking out of shape or a girl who's out of shape and they've lost their cycle and they're trying to take all these drugs to fix it and try to fix the problem with more drugs, or like same with the fat loss injections, like they don't fix their habits or their diet or any of their hobbies or kind of structure, routine, foundational stuff. They do nothing. They just take that and still order takeaway and just eat and eat like shit. And it doesn't work. And it's like, because you're trying to fix problems with drugs, not actually fix the problem. Now, that doesn't matter if it's a hormonal issue or like a weight loss issue. Like, you can't fix problems that have caused by drugs with more drugs. You know what I mean? You need to you need to fix it with like the foundational stuff. Take a step back, remove the drugs, give you fucking good food, nutrients, water. You know what I mean? Get yourself ticking over nicely, and then maybe add in drugs or whatever. But the people that I'm seeing now who are just like, oh yeah, like I've lost my cycle, or okay, add this drug in, or like, oh yeah, like I can't lose weight, okay, take more of this drug then. And you're like, well, no, you know what I mean? Like, just just eat properly. How about that? You know what I mean? It's crazy.
This is a whole, like, for Cleo as well as, and especially here in US, that we're seeing like too much is right now people are calling like being overweight, that is a sickness, not a
Mhm.
choice, a sickness to cover it up.
Yeah, yeah,
But at the same time, like, you're trying, and the first thing you're going to do is add Wegovy.
yeah,
No, the first thing you need to fix is you're having or shoving like food down your throat like it's a fucking black hole.
yeah. I mean, there's caveats to it now, right? So like when you see someone who's morbidly obese or someone with an actual real thyroid issue, not just a proclaimed thyroid issue, right? You know, when they're like, you're fat. No, no, it's just my thyroid. No, it's not. But like a real problem, right? To a certain degree, there can be cases where something like, maybe not Wegovy, because obviously a GLP-1, I would go for something like a GLP like Reta or something like works on multiple receptors. But like at a certain point, that could work if they're so obese that they can barely get off a chair or they need a mobility scooter, right? You're not going to be able to fucking get up and do your steps if you're that obese. You need something to stop you eating food to a degree, and then once you can start moving, you can start moving. But the issue is, right, that's only like a small minute of people who are that fucking obese, like that big. The people that are taking it now, man, are like girls or guys that are already like relatively in shape, or like they think they need to lose weight for whatever reason when they don't, and they're still taking fuck ton of Reta, and then they're still drinking alcohol a lot, and they're still eating pizzas and shit, but they're having the Reta to like keep them looking okay, when all of their other fundamental things that they do, like sleep or diet or hydration or restructure routine,
Yeah, yeah.
expenditure,
You
gym,
don't need
that's
that,
all
man.
to suck. You know what I mean?
We
But they're
don't.
like, they're keeping an okay look because of the drug. I think that's crazy. Like, I just think it's nuts. Like, if I wasn't into bodybuilding, I wouldn't take drugs at all, like steroids or any PEDs or that. Like, I wouldn't, because
Exactly.
I have no need to. You know what I mean? Like, there's if you're not doing it competitively, like you're risking your health and your actual life at some point, like especially in the pro level, like when people are taking a lot of drugs. You know what I mean? You're taking years off your life, and as well, like peptides and stuff are so unresearched that in 10 years' time, it could come out that a peptide like SS31 can make you grow a fucking sixth finger. Who knows? You know what I mean? We don't know. It's very much all been tested on animals. It's all very much research and kind of anecdotal opinions of people. When you just don't know. I think it's wild, but obviously, given the sport that we're in, I'm okay with it. Like, I've made peace with that. I'm happy to trial and run anything. Like, I don't really care. But the I've got all the other fundamental things in place. You know what I mean? I still sleep fucking great. I still do my steps. I still hydrate. I still eat well. Always. I just add this on to enhance. But like, people are now trying to enhance themselves by just adding the drugs and not doing any of the other shit. I think it's mad.
There were a lot of people that came, sent me a message, and I want to start using like drugs. And yeah, okay, let's discuss that. What are you doing in your day? Nothing. I'm eating 1 to 2 times. How is your sleep? Hey, if I'm not out, I'm sleeping like at 1 or 2 in the morning, and I wake up at 6. Okay. How much water do you drink? Yeah, 2 liters, maybe if it's not like coffee. Do you count coffee and soda? And you're like, so you don't have the basic things and you just want to hop on.
You want to just
No.
take fuck ton of drugs and hope it'll fix it. Yeah, yeah.
Search for someone else. That's not me.
Yeah, it's wild, man. I like when I get people that inquire that stuff, like I'll say, look, taking the drugs is your choice, of course. But like if you're under my coaching guidance, I ain't giving you shit until you fix your day to day. You know what I mean? Because, but then you see someone, right? Even just the people that want to take PDs, that like, or someone really young who's like in their 19, like, oh, I want to jump on PDs. And then you have a look like you're saying, like, how do you sleep? How do you eat? How do you do this? And it's not great. See, as soon as you optimize that, they're like, this is amazing. Like, I feel awesome. And that's without the drugs. You know what I mean? Like, I made the big mistake where I turned to steroids really young with no education at all. Like, I took my first cycle at like 16, and it was like 2 mils of test and a mil of deca. It wasn't even in milligrams. Like, it wasn't even in milligrams. Like, that's how it was just like mil of that, mil of this, mil of this. Total stupidity. Did I get any bigger? Not really. I got a little bit of stretch mark there, but like I didn't get any bigger because my nutrition was shit. I was eating like one McDonald's and maybe like a bowl of cereal or something, like a glass of milk now and again. And just like, and then that was it. I would eat for fucking days or weeks. And then when it come to the weekend, I would drink and then I wouldn't eat for like 2, 3 days. And I was still taking all of these fucking drugs. And it, if anything, it just fucked me up. I wasn't responsive to testosterone when I actually took it properly, because like the receptors have probably null and void a little bit. I had gynecomastia that I had to get surgically removed, which obviously I had way too much estrogen and fucking prolactin issues, like that I had to get checked. Like there was a whole bunch of shit. And now, like, cause I did that, because I was fucking silly and I didn't have a coach or anything, like I've already run through that bad experience. So when I speak to people now, and I like, especially the younger generation coming up who like reach out and want coaching, I'm like, no, don't, like, because trust me, I've done all that. And I looked the same for like 3, 4 years the whole time. If you're taking steroids and you look the same, you have a real big problem in your hands. Something's wrong. You know what I mean? Like, you're not eating, you're not doing something. So I think it wasn't worth the trade-off. I remember getting my blood work done, and it was like every fucking biomarker that you could get done was off. Like honestly, it was like it was a car crash of blood work, and it made me think like, yeah, that's not good, man. It's not good. But that was the thing. I was taking drugs without the nutrition. But then as soon as I ate food properly and got coached professionally, the food alone was making my body transform. Never mind any of the drugs coming. It was barely on. It was barely even on test. But the food, like, people need to look at food way before they look at drugs. Like, I genuinely believe that it's like 70% of the whole process is nutrition. Like all the other shit you can add on that help, like, but if you don't have, you can take all the steroids in the fucking world, and if you aren't eating correctly, you're going to look like a bag of shit. You just are. And I think people don't understand that nowadays. They're just more inclined to, how can I get the easy route from A to B? Okay, I'll buy these drugs and I'll take it, and that'll be it. And that'll be the easiest way ever, because I don't need to weigh out my food or get up in the morning really early so I can get 6 meals in or any of that stuff. I can just get up in the morning, take the drugs, and I'll be fine. Doesn't work out like that. It just doesn't.
The funny thing is, people think that just injecting like testosterone or anything else, that's it. And when like, yeah, but how black PDs are cheap. Yeah, and I was like, yeah, but you still need to have like supplements to keep you healthy in the background. And they were like, oh, so you're taking supplements to keep you healthy in order for you, like, why? And I explained them why, and they're like, oh, no, that's too much for me. I don't have that amount of money, so I will not use the supplements to keep my health at point, but I will do steroids. And I'm like, why do I spoke for the last like 30 minutes in order for you to like do the same thing that we can?
Another thing as well, when you get people that don't take it, and you see it a lot from like people on Instagram and comments a lot, right? When they're like, oh yeah, he's on PDs. Like, people think that you take like a mil of testosterone and you become fucking the Hulk overnight. Like, no, you don't. I had a client inquiry last week, right? Someone messaged me, and they literally said the words, like, in the inquiry form, there's how many days a week do you think that you would like realistically be able to train, right? So like, I don't want to give you a training plan that's 5 days a week if you only have 2 days where you're able to do it. Pointless. In that little box, he wrote in, maybe just 3 days because I don't want to get too big. I was like, brother, let me stop you there. I've been trying to get too big for fucking years, and I do everything that I'm meant to do. It is not that easy, bro. You do not just get too big on a whim. Like, it's fucking, it's hard. It's hard to do. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, here's one millitest and
Same.
one set of bicep curls. You'll be fucking Lee Priest by tomorrow. Nah, bro. No, it does not work like that. Like, I literally, I
It's the
stayed there, I was
same.
like,
That is the
I get females who are asking me like, "Oh, should I take creatine? Like, do you take creatine?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I take like 10 grams a day." They're like, "Oh, but like, should I take half? Because I don't want to be as big as you." And I'm like, "Don't worry, you won't. Like, it's not gonna happen."
yeah. Take 20 grams of creatine if you want. You're still not going to get this big. Trust me. Like, you fucking... It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
people just don't bro, like a lot of times, like people don't understand the basic things, and they just want to just go to the last step of the pyramid. Bro, we can hear you.
Can you now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I enjoy the process. Like, it would be cool if, yeah, overnight you could just take steroids and then go to the gym once and wake up in the morning and look like fucking Lee Priest. That'd be awesome. But, like, for me, obviously, because of, like, why I got into the sport, like we spoke about at the start of the podcast, right? I was kind of, like, running away from something. You know what I mean? I was trying to find purpose. I was trying to get out of a dark place. And, like, having that take up all my time was what I needed. That actually helped me. So when you get people that are like looking for the easy route and they're like, oh no, like I can't be bothered weighing my food because that takes ages, or like I don't have time to do this. Like, some people are looking for the point A to point B because it's really quick. Whereas I was looking for something to take up all of my time. You know what I mean? And I think that's why it worked for me so well, because I'm not looking for the quick fix. I'm looking for something to completely envelop my entire being and take up all of my time, so I don't have time to focus on the dark shit. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying, but again, at the same time, like people that they want a quick fix, there is not a quick fix, because
There
think
isn't,
of it.
yeah, there isn't one. They want it, but there isn't, it's not there. Yeah,
If
for
you-
sure.
For example, how do people get fat? They need
Overeating.
to eat shit continuously in order for them to get back. So it's not like 2 days. You're not going to eat like 2 days of pancakes and then the next third day you're going to wake up like obese.
Yeah.
At the same time, like trying to, like if you're a skinny fat guy and you're just trying to get more muscles on, like the time that you need to reach the point is the time that basically people that say, I don't have time, that's a lie, because everyone has the time. Now, it depends how you want to spend it. Because
Yeah.
at the same time, I can have time and sitting on my couch playing PlayStation, or I have the time and I will invest it in my business to create and make more money. Now,
Yeah.
it's your choice how you want to invest your time. It's not that you won't have more time. It's about how you invest your time.
Yeah, that's a question I always frame to people when they start like new clients and stuff. When if I'm ever hit with I don't have time, and I'm like, well, what's your favorite TV series at the moment? And they're like, oh, I'm watching Love Island just now, or I'm watching this new documentary that came out. And I'm like, see all that time? Do something else with it. You know what I mean? Don't sit
must-
on the couch and watching fucking TV. If you're telling me you've not got time, then either get up earlier before you go to work and do it, or that chill time where you're sat watching your new favorite program, fuck it off, because it's not going to serve your goals. You might know more about whatever show you're watching, but like that's not going to help your physique. You know what I mean?
I am asking them how much time do they spend crawling on social media. And if they don't know, I put them to open up the phone and show me. And I tell
Well,
them, bro, the worst I see, it was 12 hours of scrolling per day.
I'm worse, bro. Honestly, right? So this is crazy. I swear to God. I was the worst time I've seen it. 14 hours I had. Me, John, and Sammy actually we were on a chat like this. 14 hours I had, right? And this was also during when I was doing my shows with the 3 businesses and the baby in the hospital. Like, that doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like, I was spending time on the phone, but I was also doing 3 jobs and 5 shows all at the same time whilst in a labour room and having all the screen time. So I somehow have like, because when I'm on my phone, I'm not scrolling aimlessly through social media though, right? I'm normally doing something business related, right? So like, there's a difference there
That
between
is
screen time where
really
you're
key.
spending it on like reels, or your screen time
Mhm.
spending it on replying to clients or like being on Instagram for a business. It's a little bit different.
When you're going though on your screen time, you can go and see like, especially on each
What you were
app.
spending it on. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So for me as well, like if I open my screen time right now, you will see like on Instagram that I am spending more of my day. But at the same time, like I'm posting like 6 times a day and I am always talking with people. So I'm not scrolling, I'm basically working because my
Yeah,
work
yeah,
is there. So if
yeah.
someone's an entrepreneur and that's their job, then fine by
What?
me. But
That's my
if
argument.
they're
Like,
on Instagram scrolling and I know that they basically have a full-time job and they're just on the phone just to scroll, then yeah, that 8 hours or 12 hours on Instagram is not for work, it's just for fucking
yeah,
scrolling.
yeah, that's the difference. Like, because I'm never off my phone, but like I say, I run multiple businesses and fucking I need to be on my phone. I speak to a lot of clients. I've got the clothing business, the coaching and the posing. I'm on my phone a lot for that.
Mhm.
Whether like my partner always like Lisa, she's like, you're always on your phone. But I was like, but I'm always doing something productive on it though. You know what I mean? Like you won't just see me like, oh no, he's been 6 hours on TikTok this morning. You know what I mean? Like you just fucking won't see that. It doesn't happen because I hate it. But
Bro,
yeah, it depends.
also one more thing that I want you to speak for
Hmm.
the people that they will see that.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about your clothing brand.
Ah,
Because
yeah.
it might to boost it up a little bit because like as I said, like I had the you gave me a code but I haven't even implemented anywhere because I haven't
Yeah.
bought any clothes yet. So
I'll send you some stuff, man. Just give me your address and I'll post you some shit out. So Iron Icon here and on the back somewhere, this fucker, just a clothing brand that basically I started that kind of sits on the pillars of bodybuilding, to be honest. Like I started this idea in 2025, and it only really kind of started kind of this year, but like, there's a lot of back and forth with the manufacturers, suppliers, getting the right fabrics, making sure the materials are okay, making sure the colors are all right. Sometimes they'll ship materials that you thought were okay and then they come out shit and it's not like the right fabric or whatnot. It's a process, so it takes a while, but it was an idea that I had for a long time. And again, it's just something to kind of like doff my cap to the bodybuilding industry because it's the whole idea around it. Like our slogan is built by iron, defined by grit, right? That's the slogan. And that kind of leans to like the same kind of pillars, if you will, of bodybuilding and what kind of I view it as. And it's not fucking easy, right? So it's like something that is this, like the clothing line isn't designed for people that are going to be fucking lazy. This isn't, I don't want some overweight chick in this t-shirt and be like, oh yeah, I go to the gym. I want this to be for someone that speaks to like their values as a person. Like this clothing is for people who fucking have no quit. This is clothing for people who have got sheer determination and grit. And I think that again kind of speaks to when I was doing all this and spinning all those plates, like we said at the start of the show, like people were always at me like, where the fuck do you get the time? Like how can you possibly be doing all these things at one time? And I'm like, because the grit, like that's kind of for it, like because I want it, like I want it more than anything. And that's why, because my time it isn't being procrastinated somewhere on Netflix. It isn't being lost on the fucking TikTok for 6 hours. My whole drive was getting this clothing company running, doing all the bodybuilding stuff that I was doing my shows, making sure Lisa's good with the baby and just having that there. So like I wanted to build a clothing brand around that mentality because I think it's a mentality that is like a lot of people want it, but a lot of people don't have it, right? And I wouldn't
yeah.
say I've always had it. I kind of, like I say, I flipped that switch in my personality where I was like, enough's enough and I need to focus now. And ever since then, I've been like that. But you get people that are complacent and aren't that way inclined. And I think that nowadays it's harder to, it's easier to see a lot of people try and jump on the bodybuilding bandwagon, if you will, or like they're getting into the sport for clout or to get up on stage for a trophy, but they're not doing it because they love it. And eventually they'll disappear. Like this whole thing, the whole body, like clothing brand was designed around for people that are full on grit, full on discipline, and built for that. And it like, regardless of circumstances, are always going to be tripping on with what they want to do. So I kind of just wanted to design something about that. Like this is a new t-shirt that we designed, right? And it's kind of cool here. So
That one is amazing, man. I saw that. I sent you a message
I
immediately.
love the
Like
color. Yeah.
that one is
yeah, it's sick. But so it's got like I've done a mythological range. So it's got Greek gods, right? So this is Hermes, like the messenger. But then you've got Atlas, who bore the world, the whole world on his shoulders, right? Like with Atlas, and then obviously we've got Icarus as well. It's kind of like a bit of prideful, like this, who flew too close to the sun. I tried to tailor even that clothing, even that like design to something like bodybuilding, something about being disciplined, something about having that kind of like, I don't know, stoic mentality, if you will. I think it's valuable, but I think a lot of people are losing it. Yeah. Like I don't see a lot of people with my mindset, like where I'm from in Scotland, like there isn't a lot of people that are on the same wavelength as me. And I'm not to sound pretentious or that, but like it's far less common to come across. And I think that it's something that I would prefer and want to be more common, because it's the best I've ever like felt, like within myself, like in general, with business, the kind of ideology of everything, how I'm going about stuff now, ever since I got into bodybuilding, is just better. And I want other people to kind of get into it. You know what I mean? So that's why I decided to make a clothing brand about it as well.
bro. I like what you said, like especially with the Stoic, because the name of the podcast like is Stoic Bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Second thing is you
It
added
works.
like Greek mythology gods,
Yeah.
which were Greek. So if you remember,
Oh
the
yeah.
first like community that I created was called like
Olympus or something, right? Olympus or something.
Olympus.
Yeah.
fuck um
Olympus posing.
Yeah.
yeah, I think it was that, and
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was basically for like Olympus, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
Greek god, like basically everyone in we connected mostly to the Greek mythology, because like you don't see a god in Greek mythology that was not ripped.
Yeah, yeah. You're looking at Zeus and he's like, whoa, you know, it's fucking. Yeah. No, I get you. It's cool, man. It's cool. But yeah, no, the clothing brand's going well. Although this weekend, that yesterday was the worst experience of my life with the brand. Like, it's so bad. We had a giant bodybuilding show down in Winsford, which is like 6-hour drive from me. We were driving a van, so the van's restricted in terms of the speed limit. Like, it can only go 60 miles per hour. So it takes us longer, even longer than what the predicted time was. On the way down there, we've got like 20 grand's worth of stock in this van. Like we've got all of our shit in the van. We're on the motorway down and we just start to slow down. The accelerator, there's a wire that like connects it. It just came off. And then the clutch would like the accelerator wouldn't accelerate, like it wouldn't drive. And my mate Dan was like, fuck, what are we gonna do? Pulled into the hard shoulder. We managed to fix it with a fucking wooden spoon from Starbucks and electrical tape. We managed to like bolt it over and tape it up. We got to our hotel. We stayed the night. We got into spa in the morning. We got some breakfast. Everything was good. We were on our way to the venue, 12 miles away from the venue. And the fucking van, the starter ignition wouldn't work. We turned in the key and just nothing. Nothing happened. Eventually, I got a guy to come out and like the AA, so like accident recovery guy. He come over. He was like, "Yeah, you're going to need a new bit for the car, like the van. It won't start. So I can get it started for you one time, but if you turn it off again, you like it won't work until you get into a garage." So we got 30 minutes away from the venue. As soon as the guy started the van back up, my mate Dan was like, "We're just going to have to drive back to Scotland because I can't risk turning it off." So I was like, "No." So effectively, we travelled on the road for 9 hours plus another 6 hours on the way home. I spent a whole night in a hotel, paid for the hotel, the spa, paid for the pitch, paid for a giant gazebo, the stock, all the shit for nothing. For nothing. Total waste. So yeah, like yesterday was a fucking pain in the arse. It was the roughest day the business has ever had, but they're going to come. Rough days are going to come. You know what I mean? We still have all of the stock. We still have a gazebo we can use for another event. It's not like we're not losing out on stuff. Well, we're losing out a little bit of money, but you know what I mean? It's not like we're not going to get to do something like that again. So I think another mentality thing, I could very much be defeated and be like, fuck this, I'm out. I'm done with the clothing brand. That was way too fucking stressful. but that's not how I fucking roll. You know what I mean? It's the same with the
That
bodybuilding stuff. Like,
that is what gonna say. Like you were saying, like all the things that happen, and at the end you said, "Yeah, but we're keep going. We're here."
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that was one difficult day, like the most difficult day
yeah,
for run clothing, but
mhm,
you're going to push through. And
yeah,
that's where, like, that's why you're going to succeed because you're not giving up. Even when the time is hard, you're pushing through. That's the whole
yeah.
point.
That's it. It's the same. I think if that's something that bodybuilding will teach you, you know, like, and I think if I was to start a clothing brand 4 or 5 years ago, I would have been like, "Fuck that," I quit, and I would have been happy to quit. But like this sport teaches you to never fucking quit. Like, you know what I mean? You've got to have that drive regardless of what you do. Like, even if that clothing brand wasn't a bodybuilding related clothing brand, even if I was to be a fucking cheese merchant, I would still have that mentality though, right? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't need to be related to bodybuilding. I think once you learn those foundational values of yourself and you kind of learn more about who you are as a person when you do like a prep and you kind of discover yourself a little bit, like that doesn't fuck off. And I think that really does fall into every aspect of my life, like, or our lives, for example. Like, I don't know about you guys, but before you got into the sport, like you were saying, we all maybe came from a dark place. But once you get into it, like you have found each other, you push each other on, you are both try to grow businesses, help each other out. Like all of those kind of growth, like pushing on, all those fundamental values are now there. But like when you were at your darkest place, or either which one of you, I bet you if you were to be in a relationship at that point and then try to push someone on, you'd probably be like, no, fuck off. I can't. Like I'm not ready. I can't do it. I can barely fucking get myself out of bed. It's things you learn over time, but I think once you learn it properly, it sticks with you, right? It sticks with you forever.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it is something we were discussing with Cleo yesterday.
Mhm,
And because even now, like we're in a tight position, let's say, let's call it like that.
mhm,
And that was something we were discussing yesterday. And I was telling her, like, even if things were different, I will always choose you over anything that I'm doing because, like, pushing each other is what we're doing, helping each other out and keeping each other, like, at our, let's say, higher self
mhm,
is a part of it's a part of us because, like, even the moment that even the first day that I met Cleo, we were always like having each other's back. That's why, like, from the first day, I knew that this woman is going to be my wife
mhm,
because, like, I knew, like, from the first day we met, that woman can stand next to me
mhm.
and she can have like my last name, you know?
Yeah, yeah, for sure, man. I think it's in a relationship, like, specifically, I guess, like my partner, she's not into bodybuilding at all, right? She's not a bodybuilder by any means. She's a lawyer. But like her support network's unbelievably good. Like, you know what I mean? There's never any time where she's like, "Oh no, I want you to finish prep because I want you to spend more time with me," or, "Oh no, like you're sacrificing all this time because you're at the gym, but like I would rather me and you went to the cinema." Like, I don't get that from her. Like, I just get full unwavering support. Like, she's like, if I'm dying in a prep and I'm struggling to get home because I'm out on the steps and I'm so hungry, I'll phone her and be like, "Can you please make my meal for me for when I get in? Like, because I'm fucking dying. Like, I'm not gonna have the energy to make it when I get home." And then I get in the house and it's like, boom, here you go. Like, keep going. Like, you got this. You know what I mean? And then we'll come to the show and support me. And I think regardless of that, like whether you're obviously in a situation where Cleo does bodybuild, which is awesome, but like you still push each other. And I think that's important, regardless of needing to be in the industry or not. Your partner should ultimately add to the table, not take away from it. You know what I mean? Like making sure that you're at your highest, making sure that she's at your highest, making sure you're both a team and excelling rather than someone that's at the table with you, just taking all your time, all your energy and giving fuck all back. I think it's a recipe for disaster.
Bro, you
Yeah.
were on a
I mean,
perfect
I
choice to
I think yeah. I I try my best. I try my best to support him. Obviously, that's why I was um like when at the beginning before he started his prep, like he asked me like, "Will you be able to support me through this?" And I said, you know, I'll try my best, but I work, 6 days a week, 12 hours a day. I'm not home a lot. You're
Hmm.
gonna be alone a lot, and like I know that's not good for him because he gets in his own headspace and too much free time to think. So I said,
Hmm.
there's gonna be rough times where I'm simply just not there. And I don't mind if I have to like wake up a bit earlier and like prep his meals, or like I'll do like a bunch of like cream of rice or things for him to have like in stock, so that he doesn't like
Hmm.
have to waste a lot of time to cook. And whenever I'm home, like I'll cook, etc. Every morning I would lay out like his supplements. And then it was funny because I was working a week of nights, so it was kind of like shifted, and
Hmm.
I think he had to do like his night supplements or whatever, something on his own. And he realized he does not know what supplements he's supposed to take at night, because I've been laying them out for him for the last, 12 months or so. So he doesn't know what is which. Um,
Cleo, what supplements you want again? I can't. Yeah, that's crazy.
uh, and he has forgotten a lot of things. And like sometimes I was like, "Oh, did you take this morning?" And he was like, "No." Well, you didn't lay out for me, so no, I didn't take it. I was like, "I'm pretty sure you can open the drawer yourself." Um,
You've got it lucky, Manas, man. I wish she'd laid out my supplements.
Bro, yeah, for like that one, I'm really happy, but at the same time, like if she's not home, I'm fucked.
Yeah, no, so what she was saying, like she's working and then she didn't know what supplements to take because she wasn't in to tell you. That's mad, man. It's good though. Like it's good to be able to support one another. Like you're saying, even having to do 12-hour shifts and then like still manage to try and support someone. Like that's half your day, and then obviously that's not including you going to sleep. So like take your 12-hour shift and then add on 6 hours to your sleep. Like fucking what, 18 hours a day? That only leaves you with like 6 hours left of the day or whatever. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, and
to
that's
still,
why it's the when Minas was saying it was hard, it's because I had some 24-hour shifts. That was something different. But
Mhm.
yeah, 12-hour shifts or night shifts, and then some of them like I didn't get to move a lot because some of them were more like admin work, so literally like computer work. So then I would get
Uh-huh.
home at like 8 p.m. at night, and I still have like 8,000 steps to do. I have to train. I have to cook. I have to actually sometimes I even had like work or whatever, and then like it's midnight by the time I go to bed. I need to be at work at 6, and it was just like burnout, like begging to happen, which it did many days. And that's where like there were many days, many times where if I didn't have Venus, I would have quit bodybuilding, because I was telling him like, this is not, like, the work is hard on itself. Adding like bodybuilding on top of that feels impossible. I literally
Insane.
do not have
Yeah.
enough time. Yeah, and even now, like, my lunch break at work is me walking outside for steps. Like, this is what I do. I try to do whatever. If I have like a small break or something, people know me, like I'm walking around like the hospital hallways. I'm just trying to get steps in. Um yeah, like,
Just walking
you
around in a
know
constant square at hospital, just constantly.
Yeah, yeah. And it's hard, and especially at the beginning. And I think that's why I lost a lot of muscle, because I would go to train, but I was so exhausted that like the intensity was just not there. I was exhausted and honestly not even motivated, because I was like, I just want to sleep. I do not want to be here.
Yeah,
So I was just
yeah.
going through the motions. And so that's why it took a lot of adaptation. Now I think we're in a good space where, um, I mean, not to that's not something to brag, but I've gotten used to less sleep, so I can function well with like less sleep. Not ideal, I know, but you
Yeah.
work with what you can. Um, and just being able to, I'm not as exhausted by the end of the day, just
Mhm.
because I got used to the workload or whatever. So I go to the gym in the evening, and I feel like I can still give my 100%.
Yeah. That's the most important bit, though, isn't it? Like I get sometimes we speak to people or clients and they're like, oh, I'm really unwell this week, but I managed to get into the gym every day. And they're expecting like praise from me. And I'm like, no, like, why would you go in to train at like 20% when you have nothing to give, when you could be at home recovering 100%? You know what I mean? Like, sometimes when you're better off to get forward, you need to like take a step back and realize, like, shit, I'm spreading myself too thin. Like, how am I possibly going to do an absolutely killer leg session on 2 hours of sleep, zero food, and fucking 1 million grams of caffeine? You know what I mean? Like, it's not feasible. You're maybe just better going to bed. You know what I mean? And then
That's
waking up the
me.
next day and be like, oh.
That's what I do. That's what I do. I would go like I would finish a 24-hour shift where I've drunk, a week's worth of caffeine, and just go straight to the gym and then just crash.
Well, I mean, it's worked for you though. You still managed to get a pro-worthy physique somehow. So doff my cap to you on that. It's yeah, it's crazy, man. Sleep for me is like, I was used to having not a lot of it when I was partying a lot when my younger years before I got into this, but it was like a negative aspect of it. But like, yeah, now if I get anything less than like 6 hours, I can still train and stuff, but I don't feel good. You know, like
Yeah.
within myself. Like if you get a good 8 hours worth of sleep and you wake up different. You just do, you know what I mean? Rather than like 2 or 3 hours, like sometimes if I have a nap, like you wake up and you have like a half an hour nap, you can wake up and feel like worse than you did before because your sleep was like
Yes.
only so small. And then it ends up making you feel worse than before. Like now I just kind of realized I'm like, okay, I'm like an old man now. Like Sammy was actually, my national Sammy, he was actually taking the piss out of me because I was going to bed at like is it 7:45 or, no, sorry, 7:45, 7:45. So like 8:45 p.m. I was like, get ready for bed. And he's like, are you an old man? I'm like, nah, man, I've just got a nice routine going on now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just in a little bit of a zone where I'm getting up at the same time, I'm going to bed at the same time, and I feel good for it. You know what I mean?
We have the same thing because like we're trying to, okay, now that I'm on prep and our schedule, because it's going mostly on how we're going to adapt, like with Cleo's work and my schedule, how it is.
Mm.
But we're trying to be at bed like at 10:30 max. And most of the nights, like we manage that. And I
Yeah.
sleep like I wake up every day at 6.
Yeah, yeah.
So when I wake up at 6, I'm feeling, man, energized. But when I wake up there are times like, for example, this morning I wake up at 7 because we were late yesterday. Because I had extra carbs, so I gave some more space in between the meals,
Mm-hmm.
and I woke up this morning and I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, sometimes it can be like having one less hour or having 1 hour too much can sometimes like throw
Yeah.
you off. Weird as fuck.
Yeah, I
I've
I
always just
can't sleep 8 hours. I can't sleep 8 hours. My sweet spot is 7. 8 hours, I feel like shit.
fair enough, but yeah, you get to know that though, right? Like you got to figure it out
Hmm.
yourself. Kind of where is your sweet spot? My laptop is going to die. I've got 3% left, by the way. Just let you know.
So we
I
will
think
leave
we
it
can wrap this
here.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, we will leave it here, but for sure, we will bring you back again because there are more to talk about. And I would love
Mhm.
to have you here because you have like the mentality of what we're talking in this podcast. So this was the episode, guys. Hope you enjoyed. If you have any um questions for Rhys or for us, drop it below. We didn't have any question on Instagram, so we don't have to answer anything. But if you have any questions like for us, I will add, of course, like the Instagram page for Rhys, um, Iron, how is it? Iron Icon. And I will add every detail that you need if you want to order. And for
Perfect.
sure, I will put an order as well.
Appreciate it.
And yeah, that's it. So thank you very much.
Thanks for
And
having me on, guys. It was lovely to meet you, Cleo. Obviously, I already know you, but it was a pleasure, man. Thanks for both having me on. It was great catching up, hearing your stories, and if yeah, I'll definitely come back if you want me back on.
yeah, for sure, we will want you, man.
Wicked, brother. Take care then,
Thank you.
guys.
Bye
Have a
bye.
good one. Bye.
Bye.